Yasodhanandana Vajajana Ranjana. Where's the text? 15. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jamunatira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hare Bha, Hare Bha, Hare Bha. Hare Bha, Nitai Gaur Hare Bha, Hare Bha, Hare Bha, Nitai Gaur Hare Bha. Jaya Vishnu Pada Paramahansa Parivrada Acharya Astotra Satat Srimad Divine Grace is confirmed child of A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Ke Jai. Jaya Vishnu Pada Paramahansa Parivrada Acharya Astotra Satat Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Prabhupada Maharaj Ke Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavena Ke Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridasa Kaur Ke Jai. Brahm Si Kahao Si Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Si Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Si Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ke Jai. Sisi Radha Krishna Gopal Gopinath Syamakunda Radha Kunda Girigapadan Ke Jai. Si Vrindavan Mathura Dham Ke Jai. Si Mayapanavadip Dham Ke Jai. Si Jagannapura Dham Ke Jai. Ganga Maya Yamuna Maya Ke Jai. Si Mata Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ke Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ke Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Our glory is to the sum of devotees. Our glory is to the sum of devotees. Our glory is to the sum of devotees. Our glory is all glory to Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottama Devim Saraswati Vyasa Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nasapaye Subhadrisu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhava Itinaistiki. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 13, Text 14. Title of this chapter is Indra Afflicted by Sinful Reaction. Nabo Gato Disaha Salvaha Nabo Gato Disa Salva Sahasrakshu Vishampate Sahasrakshu Vishampate Prag Udichin Disham Tunam Prag Udichin Disham Tunam Pravisto Ripa Manasam Pravisto Ripa Manasam Nabo Gato Disha Sarva Sahasrakshu Vishampakti Pagodishin Dishantuna Pravisto Ripamanasam Nabo Gato Disha Sarva Sahasrakshu Vishampati Pagdishin is Disantuna Pravistori Pamanasam. Can someone try?
Navogato Disham Sarva Sahasraksho Visampate Navodichim Disham Tunam Kavishto Manasam.
Anyone else, man?
Navogato Disha Sarva Sahasraksho Vishampate Agurichim Disham Tuanam Kavishto Nirpamanasam.
So word for word translation by His Evangelist is confirmed, child. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you. Okay. Nabaha to the sky. Gataha going. Disaha to the directions. Sarvaha all. Sahasra Akshaha Indra, who is endowed with 1,000 eyes. Vishampate, O King. Prag-Ugdishim to the northeast. Disam direction. Tunam very speedily. Pravistaha entered. Ripa, O king. Manasam, the lake known as Manasa Sarovar. Translation. O King Indra, O king, Indra first fled to the sky, but there also he saw the woman of personified sin chasing him. This witch followed him wherever he went. At last, he very quickly went to the northeast and entered the Manasa Sarovar lake. So I go to the next text. There's no problem here. I'll just read through the text. So, always thinking of how he could be relieved from the sinful reaction of killing a Brahmana. King Indra, invisible to everyone, lived in the lake for 1,000 years, the subtle fibers of the stem of a lotus. The fire god used to bring him his share of all Jagya sacrifices. But because the fire god was afraid to enter the water, Indra was practically starving. No purport also on this. Can you get me some tissue paper and have some? I know. Yeah, okay. I'm also getting caught up with my sinful reactions. Indra caught up with his own sinful reactions. Okay. So I go to text 16. As long as King Indra lived in the water, wrapped in the stem of the lotus, Nahuswa was equipped with the ability to rule the heavenly kingdom due to his knowledge, austerity, and mystic power. Nahuswa, however, blinded and maddened by power and opulence, made undesirable proposals to Indra's wife with a desire to enjoy her. Thus, Nahuswa was cursed by a Brahmin and later became a snake. Does everyone here understand English? Okay. Then where does someone translate? Huh?
No problem.
Okay. Okay. All of these texts, they don't have purport, so let's text 17, that though Indra's sins were diminished by the influence of Rudra, the demigod of all directions, because Indra was protected by the goddess of fortune, Lord Vishnu's wife, who resides in the lotus clusters of Manasa Sarovar lake. Indra's sins could not affect him. Indra was ultimately relieved of all the reactions of his sinful deeds by strictly worshipping Lord Vishnu. Then he was called back to the heavenly planets by the Brahmanas and reinstated in his position. Again, there's no purport, but there is useful background information about Indra's sinful reactions. Text 18. O king, when Lord Indra reached the heavenly planets, the saintly Brahmanas approached him and properly initiated him into a horse sacrifice as per made to Jagya, meant to please the Supreme Lord. I think practically all these texts, they don't have purport, so we can't just go and read it. The next one should be 18 tomorrow. Okay. So we'll stop there. So let's just discuss about, this text. So here, Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatari Vacha Kripasun Vyayevacha Patitanam Pavinam Viva Vaishnava Viva Vandasi Krishna Chaitanya Nichananda Sahodato Godadaya Puspavanta Chira Sanjitamam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pista Bhutalisman Bhakti Vedanta Swami Itinam Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine So, but we'll be following up with Indra's stories. Indra's living his abode, living his throne, his position. And one of the texts there mentions how when Indra left his position, leadership positions are not normally left vacant. When the president is not there, the vice president takes over. This is how management has been structured since time immemorial, so that the leadership position is not vacant. So when Indra left to deal with his own sinful reactions, he killed the Brahmin. But although he's just an exalted personality, and he was advised to kill the Brahmin. He was advised by Brahmanas. So, he was advised by Brahmana. He was the executor. And you see, Prabhupada always makes reference to the fact that the laws of nature are very stringent. No matter how smart you are, it's very difficult to avoid the reactions to our past deeds. Very, very difficult. See, I'm very meticulous in eating and doing everything. But still, I'm suffering. I have some sinful reactions to do. So no matter how you are meticulous, no matter how you are smart, no matter how intelligent you are, no matter what position you have, even the Paramahamsas, if even you are a Paramahamsa devotee, you commit an offense against just a low-born person, you get the reactions. Oh yeah, that's how it works. That is how it works. And that is why leadership position is so dangerous. It's so dangerous because when you're put in position, the tendency is to think you are better than everybody else. Oh yeah. If I'm not better than everybody else, why am I being in charge of them? But no, you are in position because you can manipulate the illusory energy. You have social intelligence to manipulate the illusory energy in dovetailment to Krishna's services. But it doesn't mean that you become the most intelligent person. No. So, and also, sometimes we think that age is the factor. It doesn't mean that if I'm older than you, if I was born on this planet before you, then I know everything better than you do. No. Lord Chaitanya had disciples who were far much older than him. Oh, yeah. So age is not a factor. Age is not a factor of being given some particular type of service. So here, the essential thing for us is Indra was even advised by Brahmanas. Kill that guy. Kill him. Yeah. Yeah. So, counseling, this is typical case. Counseling. When we get counsel, when we get the wrong counsel, or when we get counsel, we should use our discriminant intelligence to be able to implement our decisions. I repeat, when we get a counseling on any subject matter, on any issue, before we make our final decisions, we should use our intelligence, our discriminant intelligence, to be able to make proper analysis before we execute the plan. Because whatever we execute, we are solely responsible. We can say, oh, the Brahmanas asked me to do this. So therefore, I am not responsible for it. So the Brahmanas, they are different from Lord Krishna. Brahmanas are not Lord Krishna. Okay? Although the Brahmanas are very dear to Lord Krishna, the Brahmanas don't become Lord Krishna. The Brahmanas cannot cleanse us from our sinful reactions. And therefore, we understand from Indra's case that he bore responsibility for his action. Responsibility of actions. And so, another point is sex. Sex. When Indra was dealing with all of these challenges, he went to the Manasa Sarovara lake, took shelter of Manasa Sarovara lake. And because the goddess of fortune was protecting him, at that time, nothing really happened to him. Again, we see, what Lord Krishna mentions in the Gita, that it is his responsibility to give us protection if we surrender unto him. Indra took shelter of Manasa Sarovara, which is not different from Lord Krishna. And he was protected. Oh yeah. He was not protected by the Brahmanas. He was protected by Lord Krishna. This is the exclusive power of Lord Krishna. It's only Krishna who can absorb the sinful reactions of the conditioned souls. That is why his claims in the Bhagavad Gita are validated here. He says, surrender unto me, sarva dharma paritijam, mamikam, saranam praja. Aham tvam, sarva papebhyo. Aham tvam, sarva papebhyo. Sarva papebhyo. Sarva means all papebhyo. Sinful reactions. I will absorb you. I will pulverize the sinful reactions. So it's only Krishna who can give us that shelter. It's only Krishna who has that power. And, Bipa Mangal Thakur, he sums up in a very nice poetic setting in these wonderful prayers. And Bipa Mangal Thakur was mentioning that even for Krishna, people may say Krishna is a thief. he did this, he did that. But see, yes, Krishna even stole. He is the thief that steals the sinful reactions of his devotees. Even Mangal Thakur says, I've never seen this type of thief. A thief who steals your sinful reactions. That's a good thief. That's a good one. And so, the important thing for the devotee is to be able to understand that whatever Krishna says, that is validated by his own actions himself. So here, we are seeing the validation of Krishna's statement in the Bhagavad Gita. How he gives protection to those who surrender to him. Those who surrender to him. You may even kill a Brahman, you may do all type of anything. You may kill so many children in the womb. But if you surrender to Krishna, Krishna says he will absolve you from these sinful reactions. As far as you don't go back to do it, because that is in violation of the one of the 10 offenses to be avoided in worshiping Krishna's holy name or chanting Krishna's holy names. So if we see the activities in defense of Lord Krishna's advocation, that he gives protection to his devotees, it protects the devotees from sinful reactions, then this should give us the motivation to really see how we can extend ourselves more to Lord Krishna. Because he's not just talking bluffing. There are histories of how he really did that. So here is a typical case. And so, even the demigods, when they get into trouble, they seek for help from Lord Vishnu, from Lord Krishna. So this should give someone, any reasonable person, a greater sense of belonging to the ideal process of Krishna consciousness, and not bother themselves with the worship of the demigods, because the demigods themselves, they get into trouble. Indra, he got into trouble. This is not the only time he got into trouble. And therefore, it is important for us to always remind ourselves of the path we are treading, the devotional service that we are engaging in is very fulfilling. It's not like a promise hanging in the air, dangling in the air, and it's just impractical to achieve. No, it is practical to achieve. I mean, so if it is practical to achieve, why do we have to procrastinate? The Prabhupada was giving initiation to somebody, and when he gave him the beads, he said, "Give this life, only this life, to Lord Krishna." In other words, you have been roaming around, Brahmana, Brahmi, Tekonya, Bhagavan, Jiva. Huh? You've been roaming around, one Brahmanda, one universe, one planet to the other, one country, taking bed here, taking bed there. He said that this life, you're connected with Krishna. Only this life, only this one, give it to Krishna. You have done all the stuff that you need to do. Everything you have tasted. Sometimes we forget. Forget that we have done, we have tasted all the stuff. So, Nahusa, who took over from Indra, when Indra was gone, having to suffer for his sinful reactions, he left the throne. Nahusa took over. But you know what Nahusa did? He got attached to Indra's wife. And I can easily relate with this. Because I don't want to mention the exact place, but in America, some president, he told me he's an Indian body. He had a South American lady, white lady, for a wife. A Russian or something. I don't remember the exact distance, but white lady as a wife. And there were some pujaris, in this temple, Indian pujaris. And one of them took over his wife. So what Nahusa did is still happening. Even in our society, it's still happening. Yeah. So, Nila Madhava, you hearing this? Be careful, okay? And this type of attitude, we call it, in management science, we call it sex scandals. Sex scandals has brought about so much of downfall to global leaders. Oh yeah. Even the 10th director of International Monetary Fund, he lost his position because of sex. He had he's a French guy. He had a beautiful wife. He went to the best universities in France and graduated in economics. He became the director of International Monetary Fund. But he went to New York for whatever. He went to New York, and in the hotel, he got attracted to a maid in the hotel. He had a beautiful wife at home. And sex doesn't care whether you have a beautiful wife at home. The sex impulse doesn't have any pity for anybody. If you play around with it, it's like a blade razor. A blade razor can give you a clean shave. Okay? If you're not attentive, the same blade could lead you to the clinic. So that guy, Cross-Khan, he lost his job. In America, there are so many cases of sex scandals. Ladies, not only men, ladies. I remember the case of this lady. She was from California, Katie Hill. Young lady, pretty young, tall, very beautiful. She went to Congress. She got voted into Congress, House of Representatives. But then she has to resign because of some sex affair with somebody. Yeah. People talked about, people struggled so much how to abolish slavery. So many frontliners in anti-slavery movement. But here we are. Nobody is campaigning against our enslavement to the senses and the mind. Nobody's talking about that. No one is talking about the emancipation of mental slavery, emancipation of sex slavery, emancipation of the slavery to the sensory modalities. This sense is what is responsible for the downfall of leaders in the global society. Rupa Goswami says that if somebody is able to control their senses and the mind, he could become a global leader. The Papa said they could become, if you, what's that text? Yes. The first text in the Nectar of Instruction. Yes? Tell us. Yes, Mother, this helped it.
Is this not the one that say that one who is free from the desires of the mind, what it say, the genitals?
Wacha wegam, manasakroda wegam, jiva wegam, udaru pasta wegam, etam wegam yo, vishahita diram sarvam apimam pritibim samsasya. This is the core. This is the fulcrum. This is the basis of strong and sustainable leadership. This is the basis. This is the foundation of strong and sustainable leadership. Leadership could be strong, could be very transformative, could be ethical, whatever. There are many models of theories in leadership. With my PhD, the specialization is in leadership and organizational change. So these are things I studied, and my scholarship is based on this. You know, the presentations I had in Oxford, 3 presentations at a conference that just ended in Oxford from 23 to 25, Friday to Sunday. My presentations were on Sunday. 2 of those, I had presented 3 papers, 3 research papers, and 2 of them were on sex. Sex scandals in the military leadership. So many generals in the US Army and Canadian Army, they lost their position because of sex. Don't think the problem is only Nahusa. It's affecting us more than anything else. The major problem that creates a setback in the leaders of this world in their career, sex. And nobody, you see, they put people to jail. Even justices in America have lost their position. Even governors, even president. Bill Clinton almost lost his vote for a second term because of sex, illicit sex. We call it illicit sex. They call it sex scandal. Huh? We are up to the point. Cardinal, it's illicit. They polish it, they use some euphemistic statements. Sex scandals. So men and women have suffered it. It's not only Nausa. But we have the solution. And the solution is not even to just work hard. You don't need to go for a special therapy. You don't need to go for a particular surgery. Plastic surgery or whatever surgery. You don't need. Prabhupada has provided us a clue to this problem. Rupa Goswami, they provided us with a clue to this problem. And it's not even that we have to independently or work on our own to try to control the senses and the sex urge, but they come naturally as a concomitant factor in the execution of devotional service. We don't have a program that is set aside. This program, come now, let's go for this program. This is a program for how to regulate your sex appetite. Do we have any program like that? No, we don't have. We don't have. We don't do it. But naturally, if you execute devotional service, it's just the regulation of the senses, the mind, they just come naturally. Naturally. That is the beauty of devotional service. So if we are serious with our devotional service, we can become very sustainable professionals in our jobs. We can attain the highest position without any fear of falling down from our position because of corruption and sex. We get it? And researches have been conducted on these issues, how the chanting helps in promoting self-control. Oh yeah. In one of my researches that were presented at the World Academy of Science, Engineering and Technology in London in 2021, on June 28th, I made that research on how chanting prevents crimes such as financial fraud. And it received the Best Presentation Award at the World Academy of Science, Engineering and Technology Conference. Oh yeah. Not religious conference. This is management science conference. So what we are doing, we may say, is religious, but it has implications for management development. It has implications for economic development. It has implications for leadership. Yeah. So reading the past times is amazing. It's purifying. Nastra prayesu abadisu. Hearing the Bhagavatam, it purifies us. But we could go beyond that by using the concepts and constructs of the Vedic literature in providing solutions to leadership, management, social issues in the global village. That's what I do as an academic. That's exactly what I do. And if you want to catch me, just understand that if such programs are arranged, I'll be a regular visitor. Oh yeah. Because giving a class, for instance, anybody can give the class. Anybody. Any devotee who has been in the movement for 6 months and reading Prabhupada's books and give a very nice class. So traditionally, I don't go to, in fact, Nila Madhava, hear this. I don't go to places for festivals. But no, you will have to tell me later, maybe after the class, how you got to know me, because I saw his invitation. He was requesting me to come to Cologne, Ratha Yatra. I thought, I don't know this guy. How did he get to know me? Yeah, but it's a beautiful place, you know. So Nahusa couldn't control his senses, has no sense regulation. There are so many women out there as the king, as the interim king. Indra was not there, so he was the interim king. There were so many beautiful women in the heavenly planets, unmarried beautiful women. Nahusa was blinded completely to all those beautiful women who were not married. And he picked up interest, he got attracted to the beautiful wife of Indra. It happens on the planet we are living in. It just shows how the sex urge has no respect for anybody. You create an enabling environment, it facilitates that. So, back to the original point, Indra is suffering. He left his position because of some sinful reactions. But he was protected because he took shelter of Lord Vishnu, manifested as Manas Sarovar. Taking shelter of the Lord, taking shelter of devotional service, that is an amazing decision we can ever make. That is the most intelligent decision that any intelligent person can ever make. This decision is only taken by Kavidas, people who are superlatively intelligent. They take to devotional service. Oh yeah. So we have to understand that what we are doing is the most important thing we can do on this planet. And we take it more seriously. And if even we have a problem, we should take proper shelter of the Lord. He will help us. Like Indra. Even the demigods, when they're in trouble, they go seek for help, to seek shelter at Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. And the process of that surrender in this Kali Yoga is pretty simple. So chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in this way, one takes full shelter of the Lord. To be in a position, big position, there are a lot of temptations. Anybody can be a very nice devotee, but give him a position. It's like the litmus test. Give him a position. If he maintains his sobriety, then he's a really good person. Otherwise, in most cases, people get power. Power is like an intoxicant. Intoxications can cause trouble. So, we should learn something from Indra and from his surrogate, Nahusa. Sinful reactions being protected from sinful reactions. Indra took shelter of Lord Vishnu. Nahusa fell victim of the impetuous senses of the mind, sex appetite. This is how sex works. Some people they see, and look, even the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, one of the major reasons why he got into all these complications of 34 guilty counts has to do with sex. Yeah. Uncontrolled senses. Adanta gopi visatam tamishram. Uncontrolled senses. This is the cause of all the problems of the conditioned soul. When he got involved, he has a beautiful Trump's wife, present wife, very beautiful. So I'm saying it's not only Nahusa. We say, oh, these people, these demigods, what is going on with these people? We also are suffering the same thing. If we don't take shelter of the land, I'm citing an example of Trump. He had a beautiful wife. The wife just delivered, and he went to have illicit sex with. That was the allegation. He went to have illicit sex with a porn star. And the porn star, she is super beautiful. So he makes the senses go crazy, The uncontrolled senses, they go wild when they see the beauty of the conditioned soul. That's how Trump was implicated. He had so much money, but He couldn't control his senses. Nahusa, he had a big, prestigious position. He ran into problem. Bill Clinton, he ran into big problem because of sex. So there are so many cases. And if we take our devotional service seriously, our sadhana seriously, we can protect ourselves from all of these dangers. If we become the Chancellor of Germany in the future, we'll be protected. We will not have problems. Any comments or questions? Yes, any comments or questions? Prabhus and Mataji's too. Yes, please.
You mentioned that you mostly preach to the higher people, but here in Germany we not really do it. So nobody do it. But how we can develop?
Yeah, we can develop that with people. If you have devotees who have degrees, they can start doing some projects in universities. In America, we call it Bhakti Yoga clubs. Establish Bhakti Yoga clubs in the university. And I can connect you or connect any devotee who wants to do that with one of these devotees in America. You will have to form that organization or that club in the society. You will need students to be part of it. You will need students to be able to be part of the management board because that is how the society could be recognized and approved. But a number of those type of projects they go on in India, in America, in Africa, in South America, and those are avenues for really catching people. Another thing I can discuss with you later is one project in London. They call it Studio 8. This is Studio 8 or Studio 108 or so. They have these projects where they have a restaurant in town, in the heart of the town. They have a restaurant, vegetarian restaurant, where they serve prasadam. And then in the basement, they have a hall where all of these youths, like mostly people who are interested in New Age, in the New Age movement, people who are in colleges, people who are doing a master's, a PhD, young star working, and they are interested in music. Most people are interested in music, okay? So if you advertise something that having to do with, music, people will come like anything. So like they have theater, and then they give some little talk focusing on a particular topic that addresses a particular problem. In that way, I think the person who is in charge of that project in London, at the Soho Street Temple, he told me there were like 5 or 6 of them in a temple, men and women, brahmacharis and brahmacharis, who came from that project. Yeah. So there are different things you can use in Germany here, in Cologne here, to help in promoting your preaching here. Yeah, I'm interested. You see, I had a number of conferences in Germany in the past. Okay, even this year I had a conference in Germany, but I presented my paper online because I didn't know any devotee in Germany. Yeah. So that is a good area to catch top-notchers, like professors, students. I remember also I remember when I was younger and publishing very rapidly I was publishing prolifically in academic journals. There was one guy at that time was doing his PhD in that university. So he saw one of my publications. And that publication was something that I was talking against against things that are going on, especially in the university, sex. Talking about the benefits of celibacy. And this guy He was very much interested in that topic. So he came to the office of the editor-in-chief of the journal to ask for my contact information. So the secretary asked me whether I should give. I said yes, give. We became friends. Now, when he finished his PhD project, he became head of department for a federal university. And he invited me, one time I went to that country, he invited me for a real big, real huge program. A big hall where all the members of the faculty of art, they were there, the professors. And all the students from the faculty of arts, they were there. The hall was not able to contain most of the people. So some people were just hanging outside, hearing the talk from the window. He made us to go meet the dean of the vice chancellor of the university. The dean of that faculty was also there in the class, in the presentation. So there are different ways to reach out all these high members of society. And I'm interested, if you want to get into that, you just need somebody who will not feel shy. That person who wants to do those type of projects are mainly someone who has a degree, because the dealing with students, or dealing with professors, I tell you a story. I went one time to meet one professor, head of department for philosophy and religion in the Federal University. That was when I was still in Africa. So that time I was pretty young, so I purposely went so that I will agitate him, because there I put on brahmachari cloth, with all this tilak and all this things shining, and I went, and he's a Christian. So I want to meet him there. He should give me a chance to speak to his final year students. And you know what he did? He looked at me like this. Up, down, my head down to my toe, my head down to my, about 3 times. And he said, we don't do this here. In other words, get out. Then, when he said that, humbly I said, excuse me, sir, but I have 25 publications in academic journals in 3 years. 25 publications in 3 years. He was shocked. He was shocked. So then he became calm, and then politely he said, can I see some of those publications? So the next day, I quickly came to that university and presented 3 publications from the most reputed university in the country to him. And you know what? The whole story, it turned 360 degrees positive turn. Now he says, so when are you coming to make a presentation? From saying, get out here, to when are you coming to make a presentation? Yeah. So if someone has some skills, they will not feel shy, because the professors, they will embarrass you. Once you go, they're thinking, who are you? One devotee he told me, one Sasarup Maharaja's disciple, he told me a story. They were distributing Back to Godhead in America at Harvard University in Boston. Harvard University is one of the premier universities in America, Ivy Leagues, they call it. So they went to the park and they were distributing Back to Godhead magazines. And he saw one guy highlight from his car, young man. So he approached him with the Back to Godhead magazine. And this boy, this devotee, he never went to college. So he approached this guy with a magazine, the Back to Godhead. He showed it to him. And then the guy said, he turned to him and said, don't you know I'm Howard Professor? In other words, what have you got to tell me? I know everything. Get it from my life. And he said, he told me this story personally. He said, he was demotivated, demoralized the whole day. He couldn't distribute a single magazine. He couldn't. Because first, he was thinking, oh, this young boy just messed me up. I didn't go to college. He's a professor. Oh, my God. Yeah, if you want to send people to do those type of services, at least they should have a first degree. Then they'll be bold. Yeah. Just a nice question. Any other comment or questions? Otherwise, we have to adjourn this meeting. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you very much for participating in the class.